All right, I turned in the auto play thing, as soon as the stream starts getting info from the thing, and it started streaming right away, but it still took another 7 seconds for it to catch up. But now I know we're on a 7 second delay.
Shit.
Okay, we're like broadcast television.
Okay, yeah. So shit, we're on like broadcast television, and it's like what? We can't say butts now. We can't say ass. We can't say fuck you or something like that. I mean, well, okay. In a PG-13 movie, you can say fuck or like fuck
But
you,
only
but it
once.
can't be only once. You can only say fuck once, and it cannot be in a sexual way, as it were. That's a clear distinction. In order to say fuck in a sexual way, you have to be in a rated R movie. However, you still cannot say like terrible words like the C word rhymes with punt, because that's automatically NC-17 for some reason. It's like, I mean,
Anything sexual is bad, especially if it's women, because women are dirty and evil. Women can burn in hell.
And anything sexual is also bad, especially when it's queer. And that's where you immediately get like NC-17, no matter what. Even if the girl who's a lesbian is just masturbating. Let's see. Yes, you Mithra, you're up early as we're. I hope you and Mithra, I hope you're doing like better today. And Ninja's
I'm
Heretics.
sorry to hear that, Joey.
Yeah. And that's and like last time we were like on air, which was 2 weeks ago. Yeah, not only did like Mithra suffer a mini stroke, as it were, Joe McClory also his family suffered a terrible tragedy and was like reeling in with it for like a week, at least a week or so, because like no, it's just like yeah, it's that's not easy to get over, honestly. That terrible tragedy, as it were. Hopefully he is doing better because he was at the Chief Shots Patreon hangout.
Mm-hmm.
That was quite a hangout. Russell Gurok 2011 was just like brought up the conversation about socialism and communism. He says that he agrees with me more than like Steve or something like that, in that like billionaires should not be a thing. And but yet, oh wait, hold on. Yeah, there we go. Okay, finally going to share around the tweets and the posts and all those things, and I'm going to not to have like a lot of text. Well, hold on, let me include Fox News on the Tumblr posts at least.
And of course, as soon as we go online, Sasha starts to decide to be super affectionate. But of course, because it's Sasha, it's in a really inconvenient way.
This is I mean, well, also this like it'll be like at least a step and a half to like turn the off your like avatar and turn the camera back on to show Shasta and this sort of thing too. It's not as easy. It's just like one quick button and that sort of thing. Well,
oh, I have to turn off the background. Darn.
Yeah, unfortunately, the background is good. The Zoom background is good to like for you. There we go. There we go, everyone. We got Sasha on cam.
And he walks
and immediately walks on camera. Lovely. So we know how Mithra and like Joey are doing. So John Brevin, how are you doing?
I am tired. For some reason, I always wake up at like 9 or 10 a.m., regardless of when I go to bed. And because I've been driving for Uber nights, I've been going to bed at like 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. So I've not been sleeping well.
Isaiah, don't forget to like mute the stream in your background.
Oh, I did. Oh,
that's CNN. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
News. We had another mass shooting in Texas.
Yes.
Texas has a lot of mass shootings.
Texas also has a lot of guns, but I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Texas also has a lot of white men. I'm sure that's just a coincidence. Texas is also controlled by Republicans. I'm sure that's just a coincidence.
Texas also has like a lot of those bikini barista. Texas is.
I don't think just Texas has that place though, and it's like.
Yeah, well, I get that. It's just it's like a juxtaposition of manhood. It's like
Mhm.
let's objectify women over here serving us hamburgers, and then let's on this end get like, guns and shit. I don't know.
Okay, to be fair, did like now if this is true, then like okay, that's more credence to like your like a thought process, Isaiah. Did Hooters or Twin Peaks started in Texas?
Yeah, Texas is so fucking. Texas is like a
I'm guessing
baffle.
that Hooters started in Pennsylvania and Twin Peaks started in Colorado. Let's see.
That makes sense, honestly.
Okay.
Based in Clearwater,
So
Florida, is Hooters.
that
Mexico.
okay,
And
no.
Hooters of
Again,
America
spring break.
Inc. is based in Atlanta, Georgia. That doesn't say where it
Um,
started.
yeah.
Oh no,
Uh,
Hooters is okay. That's two separate things. Hmm. It was
yeah.
incorporated in Clearwater, Florida, on April 1st, 1983.
Hmm.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Florida, a lot of dumb shit comes out of Florida. So
Spring break happened in Florida, so I'm honestly not
Okay,
that
don't
surprised
want
with
Twin
like
Peaks the TV show.
yeah, it's a different Twin Peaks. I actually also been to a Twin Peaks and like it was just like to have a dinner after seeing the movie. Yeah, it was all right. Uh, so Isaiah, how you been?
I've been
Twin
good
Peaks is
actually.
based out of Louisville, Texas. Sorry, probably it's Louisville, Texas.
I've been doing well actually. I've been just keeping busy with stuff and listening to music and all that stuff and working on, I'm getting ready to get my first paycheck from this new job and see what kind of art supplies I need to get.
That's good. It's also good that like you did get like a job, even though it's another custodial job, at least like something to like well not only occupy your time but also to like well to help you pay rent and that sort of thing too.
Yeah, and a friend of mine just gave me an MP3 player and now I
Oh,
can just
that's cool.
listen to music while I work now, so that's cool.
Honestly, that's what helps me get through the job. Just like listening to like the many different like podcasts I have, or I can listen to. But then I've been falling behind in my podcast. Honestly, it's like there's a lot of podcasts is from like October and November of the news sort of thing. My rotation of news podcasts I listen to like Democracy Now, Navarre Media, the NPR political podcast and and it can happen here.
Liberal.
Yeah, it's at times it's like, but what
Oh
are we
wait,
gonna
no,
do?
that's
Stuff like
state
that.
funded. That's state run. That's government
Yes.
propaganda. That's communism. Okay, so I changed my mind. I approve.
But like yeah, where was I going? It's like no, there's like it runs around. Why are you biting people? It's the sexual scholar. Make sure you ask consent before you bite people. Come on. And
No,
it's
no,
like
they're being a cat. That's what cats do.
okay. But yeah, so welcome in like lasses and then be badasses. I'm still in the middle of like sharing the stream everywhere in all the discords, but I will be done with that like shortly, not too like long. And but like I want to start off with the program since I just remembered Isaiah. You this was weeks ago, but I remember this. You asked me, and you can like ask the rest of the here. Uh, are is like are socialists okay with like small businesses or stuff like that, or is like the small businesses like was that your general question as it were?
Yeah, that was like what's the Marxist socialist opinion on small businesses?
Worker-owned, democratically run co-ops are fine.
Okay.
Privately
We're against.
owned corporate structure,
Would you
not so much.
would you say that that small businesses being owned by their own boss is a step towards a co-op?
No.
It's okay. So,
Okay.
Isaiah, we are against the idea of private property, meaning that like you own something but don't use it, or yeah, others use it but they rent to you or give you money for the land or house or whatever that you don't use but you own, as it were. We're not against personal property, no, because if you are using it, you get to own it, as were. Or if is this my wallet because I use it, it's my wallet. And plus, by me having this wallet, I'm not preventing others from having other wallets as well. Because like other wallets can be
But you
produced for
put
other people.
money in it, and money is capitalism.
Shut up.
Well, I mean, I saw I saw on the other the Patreon hangout that I couldn't attend because I was actually selling some artwork that I did.
Mhm. Yeah.
You got into an argument with Serious Mind, so
Because he's a small business owner but he's always been in favor of capitalism. He's just against like
He's
the
against
more
crony
serious.
capitalism or corporate capitalism.
Yes,
He's like
corporatism,
John
crony
Stewart. He
capitalism.
believes in free market capitalism. When are we going to see that?
I guess I kind of stood somewhere where Serious Mind did. I mean, I don't know. I don't.
In case anyone knows that like Serious Mind and I has been having some interesting conversations as it were. That wasn't the first time we had arguments, and like that's probably the first. It's not for the first time we yelled at each other on like a Patreon hangout, sure, or yelled at me. Uh, Interesting though that like I did decide to like a Facebook friend him one time, and it's like okay, sure. And ironically, the next day, I shared a meme, which I already shared on Twitter and had an interesting reaction
Kill
to
all
this meme on
landlords.
Twitter. We had about, yeah, kill all landlords. Serious mind. And when I posted
How
to
did I know?
Facebook, I at least clarify I've been getting a lot of criticism for posting this meme I posted without context too, without comment. But like, well, I don't agree with the actions, and it says like Mao taught us, and I'm not a Maoist, is I agree with the sentiment of the pose of kill all landlords or get rid of landlords. And yeah, Serious Mind had a serious problem with that. So I just like figured, okay, I'm going to unfriend you right now. So I just unfriend him, then blocked him, even though I probably should have blocked him, honestly. But like, I was just like, not, I'll unfriend him, but not blocked him. And then, like years later, again during Trump administration, Steve Shives, the only time he posts political stuff on like Facebook, ironically enough, is when like Trump is in charge or something very egregious like is done. But usually when like Trump was like in charge, I comment Trump did something terrible, and I commented on, hey, remember, capitalism in decay is fascism. And this was like the third time that Serious Mind said to me, hey, Summer and a Geek or Jonathan, never talk to me ever again. But that's when he finally blocked me, as were, because
Capitalism is in decline.
and the capitalism decline leads into fascism, as Lenin said.
Mm.
And Serious Mind, being a small business owner who wants to turn his small business into an enterprise, and being having your a enterprise, something you personally own, but you have thousands of workers or tens of thousands of workers working under you, you cannot do that ethically without exploiting your workers. That's something that like most people, most liberals, just don't understand. And this is something that Serious Mind personally takes offense about when like me and others were like criticizing capitalism. Is that like, but I'm a good boss. I'm a good like worker, as it were, or I'm the like I'm the good one that pays their worker, even though when the companies they taking a loss and doing that sort of thing too. It's like yeah, but like you're
Well, no, I was gonna say I'll actually kind of disagree with you a little bit, Geek. I did work for a custodial company, a small business that when COVID hit, they still paid me even though I wasn't employed.
okay. And then one thing I didn't mention in the last hangout to Serious Mind, he is the exception
Exception.
that proves the rule. And Joe McClory said in that hangout that like okay, so one business that does all things ethically, pay their employees well, give them all the benefits, pension and retirement, all those things, and you will still do that even when he's taking a loss, as it were. And they manage to see they're the rare ones. Most other businesses were either just like be bought out by bigger business, they'll do the unethical things, or they just like can't compete against a business that does the unethical things, pay their employees shitty wages, exploit like labor across the country for like coltan or cocoa or other things like that, or just like you forget all the rules and just like do things to make profits as much as possible. Oh, so it's like either they lose out or they get absorbed into a bigger company, or the rare ones manage to go around. But again, they're the rare ones. Most of all the other businesses, the Amazons, the like Walmarts, all the other ones, they'll is and yeah, Joe McClure said in live chat right now, oh, those people will be crushed on a long enough timeline. I was like,
You know,
and that's a good
essentially,
point that this.
capitalism demands infinite growth because one, if you have investors, they demand return on investment. And
Yes,
two, if you don't grow, your competitors will, and they'll destroy you.
yes, as and
And
so
so,
how
if you
long?
don't if you don't exploit your workers as hard as possible and turn that profit into growth, then you're fucked.
Would you
Yeah,
say that all these movements to transfer from, I guess, like capitalism to socialism are always doomed to be like too quick and fast paced, and then we end up with like an oppressive society? Is that because like you said you were a Maoist, you said you don't like the
I know
Soviet.
I'm Malice.
Okay, so because like I'm looking at it as if like we have this revolution that you've always wanted, and then you know the bad people with the bad ideals get into power, like what happened in the Soviet Union and all those places. Could that happen here, or just in any society transferring from capitalism to communism? Is that scenario always fated when it comes to a revolution?
I think
Well,
the
the span.
dictatorship of the proletariat being retributive and violent is not inevitable, but it's hard to evict.
Yeah.
Because
So,
I fear it because in America, where all the guns and stuff,
mhm,
I'm
Well, I mean, just the
afraid.
fact that you've been exploited by your boss and your landlord, you're going to want to kick him a few times.
Right.
mhm.
Um,
um, well,
it'd be
and
tough to
also,
avoid, but I think it is something to be avoided as much as possible.
I agree that like as I was in the like my first year of being like an anarchist, I was gun ho and more of like advocating for a violent revolution as well. I'm now more positioned that like if there is a revolution, I hope it's nonviolent, but I don't trust it to be nonviolent. And here's my point always to like in that last Patreon hangout, it's like Lauren, Steve, Serious Mine, and others are all for reforming, and as opposed to like
Serious
and
mind, that's Joe.
yeah, that is Joe. I
Okay.
could name his name, but like he accused me of doxing when I did do named him in like in the seed question to C shot. But C shot edited out that like
Mm.
the naming that sort of thing too.
That's kind of where
So
I want the system to be reformed a lot. But
it's okay. So it can reform to be better, but that's the thing that I also brought up because the Serious Mind and others like brought up the Nordic countries who could USA could be better and be like the Nordic countries. But I point out, yeah, but the Nordic countries benefit heavily from imperialism instead of colonialism.
Mm-hmm.
So
oh, and I also think too, a lot of the Nordic countries, a lot of the reasons why they have their good, generous social nets, at least back then, is because they were mostly white. So
mhm,
there was, well, let me explain. There wasn't really like any like debate about it because
mhm.
like they were all just like,
Well,
sure,
most
that.
Nordic countries do have ethnic groups in there that have tensions, so it's not
Well,
entirely
Yes.
free.
I'm just saying in America, if someone wanted to propose like some kind of like universal health care, like the Republicans will all well, the Republicans and white people to some degree in general would just say, so minorities don't want to work anymore, like I feel like a lot of our like ethnic and like little like cultural divides would like stop us from getting a lot of those programs because you're gonna have like
Oh,
a
you're
bunch of
absolutely
white.
right about that.
Yes, we are.
I
You
mean,
are right
that's
about
why
that.
we are dismantling Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security now, is because white people got upset after black people got access to those in 1964.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, it's kind of the similar situation with like the public pools. That's why there's not a lot of them
Mm.
anymore because, when integration started, the white people didn't want to like integrate the pool, so they just got rid of
Mm-hmm.
them.
Yep.
Mhm.
So,
I mean, and that's one thing. And so Steve, again, just like doesn't understand, it doesn't think like anarchism is viable, which is why he says it's a bullshit ideology, and he just wants things to be better. Steve's personally fine with a few billionaires to be around, and but he just
And I'm
wants
sorry, but
like
that's why Steve's going to go up against the wall. I mean, he's just a petty booge.
um, listen, Steve's our friend. Come on,
I don't
but
That's why it'll be quick, okay?
you know, like what's the benefit of having billionaires except like is Steve's mind like in Steve because like the way he phrased it when I heard like the recording of it was that like billionaires are quirky people and I'm like I'm quirky now and I'm nowhere close to being a billionaire so
I
I
suspect
don't
Steve just buys into the propaganda that you need
yeah,
motivation to do capitalism, to
yes,
innovate and create and do
yes,
stuff. And
and
therefore, you need the possibility of becoming one of the exploitative assholes at the top.
well
uh,
that's not
uh,
well, that's not always true because I'm
mhm.
Oh, I
motivated to do
know
a
it's
lot
not. I'm a communist.
I
Yeah, I'm coming too.
Sorry, keep
I'm
going.
motivated. I'm motivated to do a lot of shit that has nothing to do with making money at all.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like, what's the profit motive behind having kids or owning a cat?
Yeah, yeah. Now, some people do. Some people actually do think about the profit motives about having any kids, but usually it's like royalty or aristocracy to like continue the lines of power and that sort
I
of
mean,
thing.
I know the profit motives for capitalism. They need the reserve army of labor. They need
Mhm.
the reproduction of that reserve army. But what's the profit
Yeah,
motive for you to have a kid?
exactly. But Steve and like others and like the liberals in that chat also there was like this through line is that like humans are humans or that they say it's the mistrust of others. So Steve Shives as well as the other liberals so buy in that like you need a
Humans are
president.
fundamentally evil and greedy.
Yeah. Oh yes, that was a big like topic, and which is again I didn't brought it up in the Patreon hangout, but like if that is true, that humans are naturally greedy as it were, then capitalism is the worst system ever to have
Mm-hmm.
because capitalists encourage greed.
not well. I mean, maybe humans are that way to some degree. Maybe they'll always be within us, but that's no excuse not to reform systems, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's well,
That's,
I'm not
Well,
against like
that's why you need the good old fashioned embedded liberalism of FDR to put controls on that and make sure that we don't have the evils of today. They came
yeah,
directly out
like
of the embedded
that's
liberalism
like
of
saying,
FDR. There was no real transition, it was just the
yes,
ultimate development of it that was inevitable.
That's like
yes.
that's like blaming my autism on why I'm creepy to women. That's not an excuse for me to continue that behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something else to bring up, like you said, Isaiah. Yeah, it was much easier for the northern countries to like do their social welfare because like even though they have like ethnic minorities there and tensions around there, I'll talk to anyone from Europe about like the treatment of Roma in like those places, as for example.
Mm-hmm.
But like yeah, it's Eve like said like we don't know to radically revolutionize the whole system. We keep this as is, but let's bring it back to like the 1950s of the New Deal of FDR without the racism though. And it's like okay, think about that. Trying to remove the racism out of the USA, that's a Herculean task in of itself. And
Okay,
since
would you say would capitalism work or at least reform capitalism work if we didn't have like all the racism attached to it? Would it be somewhat more of a better acceptable form to you if in some alternate universe we
Okay, capitalism didn't invent racism, but it
true,
exploited it.
yes.
Capitalism is very flexible. It will seize on
hmm
anything it can.
yes,
Um, it will create divisions wherever it has to, and those
hmm
divisions will be natural and easy. Just you have people working in different parts of the company. So they set shipping against versus accounts receivable or something.
yeah,
So it would be somewhat easier without the racism to
hmm
get rid of capitalism, but I think capitalism would still be horrible.
yeah, because like Isaiah, so
A caste system.
we
They would just turn it into a caste system, and it would be
yes.
turned hereditary and other stuff, just because that's how they would do it.
Well, so
It's
well,
and as Metro says, like capitalism requires a unequal wealth distribution as well.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
and so as I
Hey, Jojo.
hey Joe P and welcome on in as a as in the capitalist mode of production, as Marx explains it, is a the capitalist has this piece of wood or a tree, as it were. They themselves cannot just like throw money at it and have that piece of wood be turned into a chair for them to sell on the market, as it were. They have to pay the laborers to for those laborers to put their time and labor into a sheet of metal to turn into a Tesla or to a piece of wood or a tree and turn into a chair. And that doesn't even go into the fact that, like, wait a minute, how did a capitalist get that capital? Where did they get
Mm-hmm.
the wood? And the simple answer, the reductive answer to that, which, like, there's a full book on that, permanent accumulation of capitalism by Rose and Luxemburg, but it's like exploitation is stealing land, as it were.
even
So,
Mm.
even so, even because like I listened to a socialist channel called Second Thought. You may know who he is.
They are
I
amazing.
don't
Yeah.
actually. Okay.
Yeah, he's really good at education. He hangs out with some guys who are a little bit too tanky for my tastes. Hakeem,
Okay.
in particular, likes to parrot the Gary Webb conspiracy theory, but they're pretty cool
Okay.
guys, all told. Second thought, first thought, the deprogram, uh, they're good people.
Even he said that there's some people are not going to be paid, I guess, equal, but I don't necessarily have to be paid equal. I don't know, because like as long as I could still pay the bills and still, assuming that, excuse me, until we get to a point where we don't really need bills or anything else like that in the future, like I'm not, like if I can still pay my bills and all that stuff, and then still have a lot of money to do my project, like I'm not that against it.
Okay, but Isaiah, but the thing is, if you are one of those laborers that are making that piece of wood and turn into a chair, for then the capitalists to then sell for a profit,
They're stealing from you.
the only way a capitalist can sell that chair for a profit is that the wages that he pays to you is worth less than the value that you put in with your time and labor, because you can only like cheapen on like equipment so far. You can only cheapen on like materials like in the wood so far, or steal it, as it were. And
I,
hey, I was about to doc.
I know.
So no matter, so even though you don't feel like you're being exploited, if you're paid well enough that you can be able to live off your wages, the fact that like the capitalist is making a profit off of your labor, he is like exploiting you by paying you wages that are can never ever be worth the value of your wages. So
Mm-hmm.
the only way you can get the full value of from your full value from your time and your labor of turning the wood into a chair is socialism.
Is to
There's no
fire your
boss.
boss.
There's no boss. There's no capitalist. The workers owning and controlling the means of production. So
Would you
that's
would
why we're against small businesses, because like it's still in the capitalist mode of production. We prefer socialism, the workers owning things, where workers co-op.
okay, well, okay, well, here you go. So I make all my art projects, right?
Mhm,
They're all made by me, just me. Is
mhm.
that am I doing the right thing there? Because I
That's
make
fine.
Yes,
everything.
because you're not exploiting anyone else.
You're doing the work. You're getting the profits thereby. Um,
Yeah.
that's perfectly acceptable. If you were
Hmm.
part of an artistic co-op where people pooled
Hmm.
profits so that everybody could share resources, get the cost reduction due to being able to buy in bulk, things like that, that would also be great. It's only when one person gets profit by one person gets paid solely by virtue of owning something. That's bad.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
capitalism.
we're against that. Landlords, or just
And
like,
that is
again,
coming along and looking amazing.
Yeah. Well, here's an example. So I bought the ship off eBay. I made it. It took. It's. I'm still not done with it, but I'm getting there.
You brought the
Um.
kit off eBay, I think you meant to say.
Yeah, I bought the kit off eBay. I put it together all by myself, and I didn't. I did it all on my own. So
did you pay anyone to like help you work with that?
no, I didn't. I did this all
But
by.
that's the
There
thing.
you
But
go.
that's the thing, Isaiah. Once you have an employee that's working for you, and you have the power over that employee to fire them or hire them,
Mhm.
and if that employee needs a job, like you said, in order to pay rent or like buy food and something like that, you being the boss, you have power over the worker. And
Right.
like I said, the Patreon hangout, I'm against that hierarchy. Even though it's like,
Basically,
yeah,
capitalism is when you get money by virtue of owning something. Like
yes.
a pizza shop owner in Ohio a little while back became a meme because he decided to pay his employees all of the profits for a day's worth of stuff, and they ended up making like $78 an hour instead of minimum wage, showing that even though he pays himself a wage and he probably does work in the restaurant, a typical small business owner does do work in the restaurant or what have you.
Mhm.
Well,
Um,
I mean, well, I
they
mean,
are
most.
still taking a huge amount of money from the workers just by virtue of
Yes.
owning the thing.
Well, I mean, most artwork. Well, most artists, because like so when I sold my Enterprise D, I was actually part of a group of autistic artists called Impact. I forgot what the flyer
Mm-hmm.
was. Here in Tallahassee, Florida, where we sold all our stuff. Actually, I have the flyer right here. Actually, Impact, motivating people through arts and craft,
Mm-hmm.
encouraging career development and social connectiveness with everyone, particularly people on the autism spectrum, neurodiverse and or unique abilities, here in Tallahassee, Florida. So we all made our own stuff with our own hands, and now
And then
Right,
you
but like,
collaborated to have a central place so that people you work together for the advertising basically. But none of you were
yeah.
exploiting the others or profiting off of the others' work. You were all sharing, collaborating,
yeah.
and participating in a democratic process.
now now
But a small business owner that has employees that cannot run his business without the employees and doesn't share the profits with his employees is exploiting his employees
Like
on their
Joe
capitalism.
Sirius, he might be a great boss, but he's at best a benevolent dictator. He's still a dictator.
Yes. Hmm.
So, and now some people did have their parents help them with some of their stuff, but
But that's just help.
well, yeah, their parents volunteered to do it, and they
Yeah, I
Exactly.
mean, and again,
And
family
that's
relationships again show that capitalism is stupid and wrong because people do stuff for free out of love.
Yeah, and that shows that like we are all communists within our own friends or something like that. I'd like the example I gave on the Fluid Voice when I was a guest on there to explain anarchism. Hello, as my dog, which also, by the way, I love to mention that like tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, Isaiah Taylor is a guest on the Fluid Voice tonight to talk about like autism and expression. I saw that like going live notification like earlier today, so that's how I mentioned it.
are they
But
are they going to be on Skype or Zoom? Because I have Zoom and I
I
have.
think it's going to be on Zoom.
Okay, let's do Zoom because I
Well,
have.
Osmo Dark is in the chat right now, so Osmo Dark can like correct me on that. But like when I was a guest, it was on over Zoom. And Osmo Dark also said like mutual aid and co-ops are, in my mind, a way more a way to move society towards socialism. The most important thing is to guarantee the ability for homes, food, water, hospitals, mental health, and dental care. So yeah, so the
Sometimes with the work I do, I can only do it myself because I know like how like the Titanic or the Lucid, like
yeah.
building models like that, like that's like I know where some of these things go because I have spent years studying like I don't have blueprints of the ships in my house, but I've read books on them, I've watched movies about them, I've seen, so like I know where my mind, where this has to go, where this piece has to go, where this what I need to do. So
And
this is
again, that
something
is
that
a
other.
societal collaboration where you're not exploiting people. It's that you share your passion for this project with other people in an
Mhm.
extension through time and space. I mean, it's like, did the Greeks actually believe in the muses, or were the muses just a metaphor for that shared society wide collaboration in art and math and science? A little bit of
Okay, the
both,
Osmo
but
It's so correction. Osmo Doc doesn't have the subscription to Zoom anymore, so he's currently they are current. Sorry. She's currently trying to do it through like Skype. Yeah, it can technically
if
be
they
done
want, I
through.
could set up a Zoom thing for them, probably, and then
Well, I
just
like
Okay.
that a
I
lot
mean,
because
just
I have.
throwing that out there entirely up to you, Osmo. If Skype works just fine for you, then just to go ahead and ignore me.
Mhm.
Well, with Skype, I'm gonna have because see, I don't have access to my Instagram account on my computer, so if it's Skype, I'm gonna have to just do it on my phone.
Okay, that can still work out too.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Um, but like, so Isaiah, think about this. Someone that works at McDonald's and they make a Big Macs. The Big Macs sell for $5 this work. And if a worker can like make 20 Big Macs in like an hour as work there, so that's 20 Big Macs sometimes like $5, that's $100. But yet they get paid $15 for that hour. for the
Right.
hourly wage.
Yeah.
So that shows you that like the even though like McDonald's is not a small business, but other burger shops would probably be small businesses. It's the fact that like the for the mere fact of being the owner of that small business, Sears Mine or others will get profits from that small business. And true, there are times because like it's just a business, and there are times where you take a loss on it, something like that. But like when the years are good, unless he's just like paying his employees like bonuses as well instead of the executive bonuses. Oh yeah, executive bonuses. As again, he can be a good boss, but just because he's a good boss doesn't excuse the system where the boss worker hierarchy is there. I still am against the boss worker hierarchy and want to dismantle that.
So okay, so let's say that so at this capital job,
Mm.
now there is a boss, and I guess it is exploitive, but the paycheck, once I get done with bills and everything else, and I use some of the paycheck to buy the supplies to build the ship by myself without hiring people, would you say that's kind of somewhat a compromise in that system? Because yeah, like it's like yes, I'm being exploited here at this part here, but then I can then get the money from that and just, I guess, just deal with the exploitation and then just use the money to just,
Well, I mean,
do.
being the victim of a bad thing in one part of your life doesn't mean that the good stuff you do elsewhere is tainted.
Yeah.
That's like the exact opposite of being a bad person in one part of your life and doing good things elsewhere. No, there's absolutely nothing wrong with being an exploited worker and creating something good um, elsewhere.
I mean, this is an extreme example, and or this is not to say that like wage laborers are the same as slaves, but like Noam Chomsky already pointed out that like, yeah, you can find a slave master that says, "But I'm a nice slave master. I don't beat my slaves, or I don't like hit them. I'm treat my slaves well, and like I'm very like humane to my slaves as well." It still does not excuse for the horrible institution that is slavery. Again, not saying that like the institution of slavery is the same as the institution of capitalism or like wage labor as is like now. No, because we are still as wage laborers, we're still like our own people and have those freedoms that like a slave doesn't. However, the point still stands is that like a benevolent boss is still a boss.
Mm-hmm. If Joe has a bad day, then he could take it out on his employees, and there's not much they can do about it except
Mm-hmm.
risk unemployment and homelessness and food insecurity and so on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, like a lot of people see. I think the concept of capitalists who want autistic people to be like artists and to sell their work is they believe that so people would believe that I could make my models for a business, which is true. I could do that, but I wouldn't. But I wouldn't need to hire people because like do it because I don't need to. I know how to put lights in things. I know how to paint stuff. So I can do all those things at once. Now, the only reason why it would be efficient for me to hire people is because I can make more of the product. But I can make more of the product anyway, but I can do that anyway. It's just, it'll just take time because, I can't work on everything. I got other stuff I have to do. I have work, I have a real job that takes my time. So, the see, but for me, the ideal is, and you may disagree with this, Geek and John, is that to get hired for a parent company to work for them, like I just feel like we're just going to keep going back to this conundrum of working for someone else and working for yourself, because working for yourself is kind of impossible. Well, it's not impossible, it's just difficult because,
Under capitalism, it is, yeah.
well, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because the artwork that you do doesn't make money. See, this is the problem I have with Autism Awareness Month, is because, or Acceptance Month as we call it now, is because it focuses so much on our art and all we can do this, but it doesn't talk about realistic employment, even for people who actually want to get jobs in that field. They just don't exist, so they have to then go to get a job that they don't like, that doesn't pay them well. So it's like we're being told we can be our own boss, you can do what you want, or work for some dude who doesn't give a shit about you, and if you make it, you make it. If you don't, you don't. So no one's really giving us really like a clear goal. They're just telling us, people are just telling us, do this or do that, and then when we don't do what they tell us, we get yelled at.
Hmm.
And yeah, again, that's a problem with capitalism, not with art.
Yeah.
I mean, back in the day, there was no such thing as unemployment. People just did the work they had to do, and if there was no work to do, they were free to do other shit. And
Yes.
land was held in common. People were free
Hmm.
to explore art and music and culture, just creating it as a community project.
Is I mean, there's like a tweet that not long ago the Lucky Bun kind of like shared,
Arts
or oh
and
yeah,
crafts. I shouldn't
yes.
rewrite the Titanic project you got going
Right, right. Okay, so yeah, multiple studios. This was from like the Twitter accounts discussing films. Multiple studios are exploring using AI to generate scripts based on like books and other public domains IPs. These
there.
studios are reported to plan to hire writers to rewrite those AI scripts when the writer's strike ends, as it were. So, like about like quoted in a comment, the people in charge of studios do not care about making something good or interesting. They do not care about like plot or pacing or character or theming. They care
Just
about
money.
making money, the cheapest possible product that makes the biggest return. Capitalism is in the antithesis of art as well.
Can't wait for Disney to fire like half their writing staff and just use the
Yes,
remaining half as editors of AI shit.
it's yeah. I mean, it's just like
Well, now we got to ask
Actually,
this
Fox is
question.
going to do that first, but Fox is part of Disney now, so.
yeah, it is. It kind of makes sense for Fox. They were just like so down bad for like of the
I mean, The
longest
Simpsons
time.
has
And
been doing that for 25 years.
true.
Now we got to ask this question now about AI. Where's the cat? What's that going to be about?
I mean, how come we weren't asking this question about AI when like algorithms on social media sites and websites were doing a lot of work that humans supposed to be doing
Well, I
and
mean,
bots?
AI is like every other technology. The point is to free humans to do other amazing things. And
Yes.
AI, if it can create entertainment, then that's fine.
Mhm.
Will it create new, amazing, startling entertainment? I don't know.
Yeah,
Well,
no.
here's why I come in. Cause see, oh, and by the way, John, I just checked Facebook and I saw you asked about the RV question that I posed about the
Oh,
kids
yes.
with the yeah. Well,
Because
it's
what camper or RV you own, they vary wildly in price. Like
Yes.
some of those mobile trailers or mobile palaces, basically, those things cost like $150,000.
okay. So
But the
I
smaller ones, you can get something that you attach to the back of a pickup truck that would
Mhm.
only be like $15,000 to $20,000.
Well,
But
so the guy who owns it in the story. Well, so the movie takes place in 1993. I don't know
Mhm.
if that means anything.
well, it
And
would
the
change
RV.
what color it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So yeah. Well, the
Wood paneling.
one of the characters, like the one of the characters' dads or grandparents owns it, so he's just borrowing it for the summer.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so basically, it would be an indicator of class. Whether it's the really long, big thing that he would have to park in the Walmart parking lot overnight, versus the thing that he hooks up to the back of a pickup truck.
Yeah,
Um,
basically. I mean, like
so is
all
he
the
middle class or upper class is what you're looking at there. So go
he's
ahead and
middle
look at the prices on the modern things, and then get the 1993 version of what you decide on.
with the 1989 version
Or
because
89, because it's
yeah.
used.
Okay.
Gotcha. Oh yeah,
All right.
then definitely it's going to have wood paneling down the side, and it's going to be very brown inside, and it's going to stink of cigarettes.
Yeah. Uh, okay.
Go
Well,
ahead and put that in
here's
dialogue so that people know it.
it's here's some one thing else about like RVs, and the same thing with like mobile homes too, or like big enough RVs where that's your main like residence, this is where you live. And so it's like when you have an RV, okay, sounds great, and you can like move where you want to, but like in order to like stay stationary in a park somewhere, you have to park at an RV park, is where
Mhm.
you don't own the land, you have to rent the land. And mobile homes is like another dangerous thing where it's just like it looks like a regular house, a regular home, but it's like mobile, but yet you can
It
own
doesn't have
that.
a
And
foundation. It's much more fragile. Yeah.
yeah, you can own that
And of
mobile
course,
home
there's the
because it's
class
cheaper.
issues associated with it, but the cops come out to you, they are not going to help you.
Yeah, and also like same with mobile homes, so you don't own the land, so you have to rent that too. So it's just
Mhm.
like seems to be more expensive than
And
it's worth.
for realism, you might show a thing, depending on how familiar your character is with the RV lifestyle, having trouble hooking up the water and getting the gray water and clean water and black water lines confused. That could be good
Mhm.
for some comedy beats.
Yeah.
Gray water is stuff
Oh,
that comes out of the sink and shower. Black water is stuff that comes out of the toilet.
makes
Just
sense. Okay, now the scene from like Brazil is like entered my mind where like Robert De Niro's character was like totally basically killed and suffocated like Bob Hoskins and the other guy's character. Brazil was such a weird movie. Okay. Since I mentioned Brazil and the tangent, change the topic, but like public service announcement: do not watch Tideland. Because like Terry Gibbons, while a piece of shit of a human, is a great artist. Again, Time Benders, I have to be in the right mood for Time Benders. Brazil's a very interesting trip of a movie, but great movie. Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, I like a lot. The 12 Monkeys is a trip, and more people should watch The Adventures of Barry Munchausen. So yes, Terry Gibbons as an artist has done some great work. Don't watch Sideland. Don't watch it. It's disturbing. It's unpleasant. It's like shocking, and all for no point whatsoever.
you said
It's
Sideland?
Tide Land,
Tideland.
and it's like
Because
yeah,
there is a Sideland, but it's a series of books, I think.
it's Tideland was actually based off of the novel apparently too. But like no, it's just like Thailand is just like it seemed to be like one of those movies that has a point, but it lost it. And it was just like shocking, disturbing, and unpleasant for the sake of being shocking, disturbing, and unpleasant.
So Terry Gilliam all the way down.
Yes, Terry Gilliam said that forget
Despite the
everything you
film's
know.
eclectic and unconventional themes, which included child abuse, decomposition, incest, flatulent mental illness, and heroin use, it featured
Yes,
a number of notable actors. Awesome.
yes. Jeff Bridges, Jennifer Tilly. Jeff Bridges and Jennifer Tilly played the parents of like the kid,
Wait.
and both die of a drug overdose.
Thailand featured a number of notable actors, including Jennifer Tilly, the voice of Celia from Monsters Inc., and Grace from Home on the Range. That's how they referenced Jennifer Tilly. She was in Bound.
And she's an Academy Award nominated actress
This may sound a little crude, but I only know Jennifer Tilly because of her body modifications. I don't want
too. That didn't happen in Thailand, but there was body modifications to like Jeff Bridges' like body after he died, and just like it's
I wanted to say boobs, but I didn't want to sound like a weirdo. So
I think those are
Too
natural
late.
actually on Jennifer Tilly. Is Jennifer Tilly? I think she's in her 50s, but she's still. That's damn. She's like yeah. That's like she looks good for her age, and it just like looks good in general.
it's good for her age.
Yeah. But no. The Terry Gilliam's like said to like others to forget everything you know as an adult. If it's shocking, it's because it's innocent, and it's just like I no. I just like I don't care. I can't forget everything I know as an adult as I'm watching Thailand. I can't just go back to the innocence of a child, which is like the innocence of a child like in a terrible, horrible situation in the world, just like fully explored. No, I'm creeped out by like some of the implications of that film. No, just no. Terry goes, no. Again, piece of shit as the human too. Just a tangent, because like I suffered through that movie. I don't want others to suffer through that movie as well. That at least was like half watching it, and I was playing Fortnite at the same time. But it's just like so disturbed by that movie. Anyway, so
Is Thailand an animated film? Is that why they're only referencing people through their voice
no,
work?
it's all rated.
Because
It's
I mean, it
already
says Jeff Bridges, the voice of Prince Lear from The Last Unicorn, and Janet McTeer, the narrator of Maleficent. I mean, what the fuck is up with this Wikipedia article? We got Academy Award and Global Globe winning people. What the fuck?
Okay, listen. I know that Jeff Bridges voiced the prince in The Last Unicorn because I'm a weirdo that loves The Last Unicorn and just
He
like
was
knows
the
that film
dude.
exists.
He
was the dude. He won the Oscar. Okay, this is 2005, so this is before he won his Oscar and for True Grit. But it's just like, but yeah, he was the dude, and so like he's not just the son of like Lloyd Bridges, even though Lloyd Bridges is a great actor, but he's been dead for a long time. But like he established himself for the longest time. He was in Tron, and it's like, I don't know what's with that Wikipedia article, but just like I know. Okay, okay, so Terry Gilliams, yes, was an animator because he was an animator on like for Monty Python, as it were, and like when the the only reason like that monster in the Holy Grail should like stop chasing after like Arthur and his knights is because the animator suffered a fatal heart attack, and that was Terry Gilliams. That movie was so absurd. But just like, okay, but like back, let's see, back to the live chat. I fear as if a AI writer writes a book or a movie, etc., is going to be so emotionless or like writing feels rushed, as were. Already been done, Jones or P. J.K. Rowling is definitely an AI. Okay, yeah, I can see that. Because again, the like, yes, for many people, like, or
asshole
yes,
intolerant AI.
No, Joe McClure. Okay, I see. Yes, that's right. Orson Welles is the voice of Unicron. Yes, and Leonard Nimoy voiced another character in that like movie too, which is.
Oh, so did Eric Idle. I mean, let's go all out.
That's true.
Replace all Oscar winners, Golden Globe winners, Emmy Award winners with just their voice roles from obscure 1980s shit.
Mel Gibson, the voice of like John Smith from Pocahontas.
That was Mel Gibson who voiced.
That was Mel Gibson. Yes,
that is very on brand for Mel Gibson.
True. Yeah,
I would have noticed.
I mean, so this is interesting because it reminds me of like the Lindsay Ellis like video on like Robert Williams as the genie. Because the thing is, what most people think of like Disney and voice acting, they always get like Hollywood voice actors. That was not always true. No. Before like Aladdin, where like they did wanted like Robert Williams to voice the genie, it was good casting because like the Robert Williams just turned in a great performance and just like went all out since like they can animate afterwards, and that was a challenge for the animators too, to animate all those sorts of characters. So like 43 different characters just from the genie, and
some comedic actors just have very, very expressive voices. Robin Williams, Tom Hanks. They did a test where they animated him yelling at Hooch from Turner and Hooch, but as a sort of test for Toy Story, and that's what convinced the execs in the studio that he could carry the film.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's
Jor La. Oh my God, Joe. Oh my God. I'm going to tell Steve that. Son of Jor La, kneel before Zod.
That's right. Orson Welles, famous for the Frozen Pea commercial. Exactly. This is a load of shit.
Are you guys getting ready for our debt ceiling to be reached? What's going to happen with that?
Oh, I think the Democrats are going to show some backbone. They're going to fight and stand up to the Republicans. They are going to get things done. I am being entirely serious right now. You can tell. If you can't trust a guy with a Catboy avatar, who can you trust?
Yes. And let's not forget that like Chris Rock was also the voice of Osmosis Joe and Osmosis Joe as well.
Mm-hmm.
I did like the movie though.
No, Joe, you can't walk that back for the rest of the time. You're the guy who said Jor La.
So where was I going? Where did I come from? Where did I go? Where did I come from? Cotton Eye Joe. I had a train of thought, but I kind of lost it as well with all this I talk about like
Tide Stream or something.
Yeah. Well, I did derail that from like Tideland. I just wanted to like.
No, I did because I got so hung up on this fucking wild ass credits.
Yeah, and so now we can only know famous actors for their voice characters. Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, Robert Williams and that's the
Craig T. Nelson, the voice of Bob Parr. Samuel L. Jackson, the voice of his best friend Lucius.
Yes, exactly. No, Robert Williams actually only did not want it to be known as like, no, don't just like advertise it as like Aladdin starring Robert Williams. That's the genie. It's just like, but also before that, just like any other like animations kind of projects, is where they have like a catalog of like the actors that they will go to, and also any voice actor is worth their salt. It's not just voice acting, like doing voices, as it were, which can, yes, you
It's a
can do
whole
voices.
performance that inspires the animators. Yeah.
Yes, it's acting with your voice as well. So it's just like your voice being like the tool and that sort of thing too. The actors
Your
will still
fellow
act.
actors play off of it. You're not just talking into a can alone in a room.
Well, for anime dubbing, as it were, and video game recording, it's like more often than not, it's like you are alone in the room and doing the can. But
performance often suffers, I think, because
I agree. Yeah, it's important. Sometimes even like a Steve Bloom, like a Bill Bosley, the voice of like a Jet from like a Cowboy Bebop, he voiced a lot of anime roles as well. He actually saw the recording of Steve Bloom when doing the Cowboy Bebop the movie, Knock on Heaven's Door, and Steve Bloom, he always saw himself the guy to do voices. It wasn't until he did like the role of Spike Spiegel, it's like, wait a minute, you actually want me to act? I'm not an actor, as it were. But the voice director, oh, damn it. I know that actress. She's also does a lot of like Mary Elizabeth McGuinn. That's it. That's her name. Who voices Matrix Mako Kusanagi in Ghost in the Shell Standalone Complex. She was the director, and she actually coached Steve Bloom to actually no, you are an actor, as it were. So then when finally Steve Bloom did like Bang and Final Answer, like Mary Elizabeth McGuinn said to Steve, now you're an actor. And now they're dating, I've been told. But so since Steve Bloom, when recording for Knock on Heaven's Door, the Cowboy Bebop the movie, he was like doing all this sort of thing because he's always the guy to read the comic books and want to do that kind of kung fu stuff too. And his character Steve Spike Spiegel would do the kung fu character stuff, but also he's a voice actor. He has to be on microphone because if he moves away from the microphone at other times and mess up the recording, so his head was pretty much perfectly still in front of the microphone, but his body was doing this whole thing. It's almost like reverse bobblehead, as it were, according to Bill Bosley. So in voice acting, you can still get a lot. Some people just give really into the performance, as it were, to have it translated into the performance that we hear in the voice, even though it's just the voice that we hear and that sort of thing too. Okay, I think I'm done now. Maybe, I don't know. I'll get on a tangent of like something else entirely. Without to mention the other things I kind of mentioned in the promotion of this thing. Okay. Clarence Thomas, not surprising that he's like absolutely
corrupt
just
as
like
fuck.
yes. I just like put into the live chat the Legal Eagle like video on it as well.
I was going to suggest that actually.
Because like, we know that Clarence Thomas, like with so many different things, is like this guy is clearly just corrupt as fuck. Because like his wife was receiving text messages.
Oh my god, Joe. Sorry, no, I have to interrupt because Oprah Winfrey, known for voicing Gussie the Goose. All I can think is that at the turn of the year, "ussy" was the word of the year. Goose Gussie. Right.
Yes, and Calgary is famous
Continue
for
with the corruption of one of our Supreme Court justices.
So it's just like we know at this point we all know that Clarence Thomas is just like right wing as fuck, like for the favorite like Supreme Court justice for the Heritage Foundation, other like conservative right wing fascist think tanks and all that sort of things too. And now he's just been like receiving massive amounts of donations or gifts or like things from a friend of like private jets, planes, and trips, and like cruise yachts, and like several the bunch of drones from like Henry Crow and that sort of thing too, and just never disclosed it because he's kind of like I was advised I never have to, and that sort of thing too. So they're just the Legal Eagle video is there. Like I know there's just like going through the whole laundry list of like things to do, and it's just like it goes to the kind of like our point. It's just like okay. Who the fuck's going to hold the Supreme Court accountable? Unfortunately, not these this current like a lot of like politicians that were not just like Republicans. The Republicans are never going to like hold the Supreme Court accountable or any justices accountable. But I don't think the Democrats have a backbone either to like.
Well, they also don't have the numbers, so they're not going to try.
yeah, they don't have the numbers. Not going to try. Be like a political inefficient for them to do so, and like they'll be again because like the Democrats worry more about like getting the votes and like winning the re-elections. That's where more than anything else. So only if like it's like proven, absolutely proven that like they can actually get winning re-elections, as it were, they will be in support of it too. Now some may take braver stances or don't care about winning re-elections or like do something that they know is right, and so they will take a stance on like trans issues or like our college debt and like other issues as were or $50 minimum wage. But like most Democrats, I feel, are just going to like only be in favor of like a gay marriage or something like that. Once it's like the winds have shown that like the public is in favor of that too. But then again, I can also criticize how it's like, no, these things have like bipartisan support. No, everyone's for this. Everyone's for this. It was like a vote up to the masses that we would already have $15 minimum wage. But since this is part of one of the other things that was brought up in the Patreon hangout on the Siege channel about representative democracy, the representatives are the one making the democracy. Then all the liberals had like the faith in the representative democracy and that like we just need to vote and solve things
Support
or
the
make things
system,
better.
and the system will do what's best. Just like
No, this is
capitalism.
yeah, and that's it, but I don't think in that. Well, they know that most of those liberals know that I don't have faith in the system. That's why I'm anarchist. But I don't. But like I don't get disappointed when like Biden would just like throw trans people on their bus by compromising with the fascists and on like a show trans rights by allowing like just like if states want to, there's not going to be any federal like thing to stop states from like discriminating or like banning trans athletes from doing like sports in high school or collegiate. But like um, uh, but like Steve Jobs was gravely disappointed in that, and I'm just like not surprised. Joe Biden always compromised with the Republicans when he was like VP or
Liberals
like a senator.
always
Yes,
compromise.
yes, the liberals always compromise. And so it's just like I don't have like so there's so many instances I can point to. It's like no, there's bipartisan support for this sort of thing, but it seems like a Herculean task to like get it like passed in like in the Senate and the Congress because there's no political will for them to do it. It's not only the Republicans are 100% against that because they're fascists and want to like hurt homeless people for sport, but also the Democrats don't have a backbone to stand up against those people or willing to take a small, if anything, political risk in order to like support that or propose that or put it the vote.
I mean, just having Joe Biden in office is proof what the Democrats are. They did not give people a candidate they wanted to support. They just gave someone they knew would be so bland and unoffensive that people would be happy to vote for him in contrast to Donald Trump.
And this is something which I find it interesting to listen to the NPR politics podcast as well, because like yes,
I voted for Bernie Sanders. That's who I voted for.
I voted for Bernie Sanders too, and I would have voted for him if he was the candidate, or Elizabeth Warren, or anyone other than Joe Biden. Honestly, other than Andrew Yang, I hate Andrew Yang. And Pete Buttigieg, it's like he's just like corrupt. It's just like he's just a smarmy ass mf'er. But damn it, what was the point I was going on? I lost the train of thought. Damn it. He still disappoints because like sometimes he surprised me positively as well. Yeah, no, there's sometimes it's like okay, no, that's good that Joe Biden is done. Like I would wish that he like did $50,000 of like student debt forgiveness, but he did $10,000, 20,000 for certain people as well. And unless you point out, John Brockman, he did change the tax law so that like those like students that get like the $10,000 like student debt forgiveness, even though it's a limited number of students that did get that, they wouldn't be hit by like oh you now
A
have to pay
huge
taxes
tax
on
burden
that.
because of it. Because it counts as a gift and therefore counts as $20,000 in income or some. God damn, I hate our tax code. But yeah, he made the effort before he did the thing. He did that, months beforehand quietly just to make sure. So, I mean, the Democrats aren't as actively evil as the Republicans. It has to
I
be
agree.
said. They are the lesser of two evils.
Yes, I agree. Hmm. So yeah. So yeah, Color Silence is just like absolutely corrupt and like it's like I don't know. Again, I don't know if he's ever going to be impeached because like again with
He's
the
not.
political will. So Yeah, he's not. Again, the most of the Democrats, that's why I say most, just don't have are not brave enough or have the political will enough in order to do anything that could ruin their
I think
chances
they'll
of
use him
re-election.
to run in 24. They'll
Oh
make it a
yeah, that was
campaign thing, and then they'll say, "Now's not the time. We have more important things to do."
That's what I was really going to bring up. So yes, with the indictment of Trump, and I will do love it. I have my criticism of the justice system as it is, but if Trump does actually get indicted for the crimes he has done, okay, good, then he will serve jail time. And yes, there's actually still nothing that prevents him from running for the president,
Mm-hmm.
even being indicted or being in prison, because Eugene Debs actually
Eugene P.
run.
Debs.
He ran for president from prison as well. He was not successful, but that's because he was a socialist. It would not help him that he was in prison as he was running either. But the biggest thing against him was he's a socialist. And so we listen to an NPR politics podcast because Trump has said that he's running again, and some would say that this indictment will help him because it would fire up his base. That look, they're coming after me, witch hunt and stuff like that. Which I think why they didn't do the mugshot for Trump's indictment. They did fingerprint him, and I think the trial part of it was no. Some reporters were allowed to be in the trial or the arraignment for trial for Trump, but it wasn't like a public display as it were. But they didn't do the mugshot thing, which they usually do because that would help Trump's publicity. But the NPR politics podcast were saying that if it was Biden against anyone else, Biden's not favorable in polls, or not that
Mm-hmm.
favorable, as it were. Like Biden versus Marco Rubio, what's the difference there? Biden versus Mitt Romney, what's the difference there? But Biden versus Trump, that's where it's because people hate Trump more. It helps Biden. So this is something I said before on Facebook, and the liberals hated me for saying this, but I think the Democrats honestly want Trump to run again, and that'll be terrible.
If
They need
if
him.
Biden had done the smart thing and decided not to run, and it had been Kamala Harris,
Yes. That would be
that
something.
would have
at
been
least.
stupid too. Okay, because she's brown and a woman, and Muslim
There's that.
/ Hindu.
Yes. I forgot to. I think her father's Jamaican, her mother's Indian, or either way, vice versa. But it's just it's funny how they say that she's a African American, a first African American VP. Okay, no, she's black. She's actually not African. She's actually half Jamaican, half Indian. Those are not from Africa at all.
No.
Yeah, not Biden, Obama actually was African American in a way that a lot of black people aren't.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
That
A lot
doesn't
of
really
people-
matter in the way that an African American is used in the U.S. It's just a synonym for black for people who feel uncomfortable not being allowed to say shmur shmur.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, people always said Elon Musk was African American.
Well, if he's American citizen, then yes, he would actually technically would be because he's the first nationality was South
Let's
Africa.
just go ahead and call him an Afrikaner American.
Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
I agree. Don't put that motherfucker with us.
And of course, the thing where he put up $1 million challenge to anyone who could prove his dad owned emerald mines, and then his dad said, "Can I take you up on that?"
I didn't know about that. Oh God! Hey, kudos to his dad for doing that, and I think honestly yes, it's the wealth from that he got from his father as his family did helping him up, but it's kind of interesting that we actually look into it. This Robert Roberts did on this episode of Behind the Bastards on Elon Musk. No, Elon Musk actually does hate his father too, but it's the wealth that his father had still benefited him greatly as both anyone else. So yeah. So I bet Elon was very pissed off that his father for that. It's again, Dad, God, I hate you enough already. But yeah. Wait, didn't Nick Adams really said what?
Oh, I put a meme up on the thing. It wouldn't surprise me if he said it 1 minute apart. I don't know where I got this meme. I kind of just picked the memes at random during the show.
Disney should be stripped of all of their self-governing status in Florida and lose all copyright protected from by Congress. Boycott them 100%. Cancel your Disney account and credit cards. Cancel culture has no place in American society. That just goes to show that the hypocrisy.
I would believe it, but Twitter things like this are super easy to fake. So,
oh yeah, exactly.
I saw a thing on Facebook saying Biden's some new Biden appointment said a thing about Hitler. Say what you will about Hitler, he fought the communists, and though they didn't say that. Because apparently, I mean, basically, it's really just super duper easy to open up a editor thing, and it's like every browser just lets you do like Control I, and there you go.
Yeah, exactly. Uh, okay, so like another new piece of like the news. Yeah, we didn't like dive much in like Clarence Thomas because I think we all know that like he's corrupt as fuck and like that's going to happen to him and like there's so many things that happen about him. But like another thing that's like it happened a while ago, while we were off air or something like that. Fox News is screwed. They,
Oh,
I think
yes.
I think they
Not as
settled
badly as what's his nuts.
Tucker
Not
Carlson,
Rush Limbaugh. The
Stephen
other fat
Crowder,
white guy.
the
The
other
yellow
fat white guy.
Alex Jones.
Alex Jones, yes.
The Rush Limbaugh of the digital age, if you will.
Right. Okay, so yeah, so no,
So
Alex
only
Jones did a lot.
787 million instead of 950 million.
Yeah, but no, so Fox
You
News
love
had to
to
settle.
see it. That's 1.7 billion between them.
Yes, exactly. But with that news of like Fox News had to settle out of court with the mean voter systems, as it were, because no, their anchors were lying on air about the demeaning voter
But the question
systems.
is, why did they settle? And why did they settle when they settled?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Because they went through a lot of discovery that brought up a lot of really bad shit.
Mm-hmm. The thing is, like,
And the implication there is that the higher ups didn't know about the really really bad stuff that Tucker Carlson and others had been saying in their private texts.
mm-hmm.
The shit where they insulted the audience and said just really misogynistic and racist shit off the air. Hence, Tucker Carlson got fired.
Yeah. I mean, okay, so good on Fox News for firing Tucker Carlson and deplatforming that fucking white supremacist. Fox News is still Fox News, though.
Oh, yeah.
They still have Sean Hannity.
The only reason they did that is because now he's bad for the bottom line. He was great for the bottom
Yes.
line for years.
Yeah,
They're
exactly.
fine with white supremacy. They're fine with his great replacement bullshit. They love that.
This
They
is
don't like him
Rupert
getting caught with his pants down.
Yeah, Rupert Murdoch said it bluntly. He's like we produce and we air the news that we do because it's good for the dollar. It's not blue or red; it's green and that sort of thing. And like I think one of the like
Well, it is red
probably
because it's covered in the blood of minorities, but
well that's true too. And this is Rupert Murdoch too as well. So like you never know. But like yeah, so it's just like so Tucker Carlson has finally like been fired. It was like sudden for him, but like good. He's a piece of shit. And I do relish in like him being fired, but like he's Tucker Carlson. He's going to get on the Blaze. He's going to like find like like Glenn Beck is going to like pick
I
him up.
hope he ends up homeless and he has to start whoring himself out to green M&Ms.
The green M&Ms that he was complaining wasn't sexy anymore.
We'll take pegs for
But Tucker Carlson never needed that job too. He was like the heiress to like the Swamp family for Foundation because like his like stepfather or stepmother is like a member of that family, and that's so he was loaded to begin with before it became like the bow tie fascists were. Again, he was like the bow tie guy that was like also on like the conservative half of Crossfire, where Jon Stewart said like you gotta deliver news. You're not delivering news. You're doing the show. I thought you were going to be funny. I'm not your monkey. Hey, I'm not your monkey. Hey, Tucker. But also like Tucker Carlson kind of like criticized like Bill O'Reilly as being the fake populist as were, and then it's like kind of funny that like Tucker Carlson took Bill O'Reilly's spots as were. Bill O'Reilly's still a terrible piece of person as it were, but like at least
he got fired after he got caught with his hands in other people's pants. I mean,
yes, exactly. Breaking consent and that sort of thing too. And you shouldn't have to come for that, but like him getting fired for that, yes, it's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I put on the heels of the boots. We know you like it, Tucker. And another Schadenfreude of a terrible piece of shit person that like was a terrible piece of shit person also in private life too. Steven Crowder is also getting divorced.
No,
Weirdly
no,
enough, I
he's
don't.
getting divorced. Duh. It is something that is happening to him.
That's right.
And he's not happy about it. He is complaining. And so are all of his white supremacist friends, like Matt Walsh.
I'm not surprised. And how I know some of the details is because when I open up Edge, it's like MSN or just like saying advertising, hey, here's the articles that we think you'd be interested in. Because I watch a lot of Twitch. Hey, this Twitch streamer XQC. I always know that he's a piece of shit, honestly, but this confirms it. He kind of like questions what was like it said, or it's like, wait, is Steven Crowd really abusive?
Oh
This
my
has
god. Just looking at a
yes,
picture of SQC, you can see he's a piece of shit.
yes.
Oh
And
my
he's a
god,
huge.
he's like, he's like the Barbie version of PewDiePie. Oh my god.
And with what XQC said about like the
Oh my god,
revelations
he's
of
like a fake Guy Fieri.
yes, yes,
Oh,
and he's a hugely popular Twitch streamer too. He gets like a 60,000 like
you can
viewers
feel the
on like his
waves
stream.
of douche just rolling off of him.
Yes,
Somehow I can taste the Axe body spray through the internet. I'll stop.
yeah. So XQC kind of like a question if was Stephen Crowley really abusive and like a question sort of thing. That's enough for me to. I always
Somebody recently did. Was it? I can't remember. A YouTube guy went through and YouTube person, because I can't remember who it was, went through and said, yeah, Steven Crowder was an abusive piece of shit, and Matt Walsh and others are terrible people for defending him. And here's the douche bro I was just talking about, so people get the image. So that you have to suffer like I suffered, because I'm a permanent heart.
I know. Sometimes I don't understand how like some people are just like so hugely like popular on like Twitch and that sort of thing too. Maybe he's like good as a presenter on Twitch and that sort of thing. And yeah, so XQC also like he looks similar. He looks like all those other like Turbo Juice Bro like streamers too, like Logan Paul, the XQC Logan Paul. If you put them next to each other, I would have a hard time distinguishing who's Logan Paul and who's XQC. And both are terrible people.
Well, Logan Paul is the white dude bro.
So it's XQC.
PewDiePie is a Nazi.
Mm-hmm. I can at least say that, yes. I don't know if PewDiePie's still on Twitch, honestly. Oh, hopefully he'll be kicked off the Twitch. But he'll be on Kick. He'll probably be the biggest streamer on Kick. I don't know if he's still on like YouTube, honestly, too.
I brought up the bleep sound effect for a reason, but now I can't remember what I was going to say that I should have covered it up. I should make it a point to have the bleep sound effect on hand every time I start a podcast.
Yeah, probably. We'll be able to hear it or just the audience.
I was going to share audio with you guys, but now I can't remember what I was going to say that was going to be wildly inappropriate.
Mm.
Well, since I have it handy, I might as well say something about sharing Rowling or something. I mean,
Logan Paul does definitely look like very young. He looks like a young adult though, so it's not like he looks like a 12-year-old boy.
No,
like but he
didn't
does
say
look.
looks like people too young, just who likes people too young.
Oh,
I have not
would
heard
be
that about
surprised.
Logan.
I have.
I wouldn't be
Yeah.
surprised. No, there are a lot of people who do, like Jared Leto. XQC sounds like a '90s internet thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it sounds more
Yeah.
like an internet chat thing that's trying to piggyback off the popularity of IRC or SQL. God damn, internet's and stupid acronyms. I don't know what SQL actually stands for. I just think of it as the internet squirrel.
I honestly sometimes I have to like look it up as well. And the thing about like acronyms though, it depends on like what you're talking about the context. Because FPS could stand for first person shooter. It also mean frames per second. and that's in the gaming world. Both are in the gaming world.
Or something
However,
pussy. Frog pussy. Fussy.
why are we
It's
talking
the
about
internet.
frog
It has
pussies?
to go there.
Of course, it has to go there. I don't want to know about frog pussies. Honestly, no, I don't want to know about frog pussies. It took some time before we got to that point about talking about pussies.
2.5 years.
I was about to I was like saying 77 minutes on this show specifically, but like
I mean, we mentioned
because
because before this because I mean Joe brought up the Gussie.
that's right, Gussie. Because like Oprah Winfrey, known for like voicing like Gussie the Goose.
Oh, and I heard on a podcast. I don't remember which one now. Oh no, actually, I do. The Sister Getting Out of Hand. Talking about hypercorrection by people who are trying to be allies to the trans. Talking about vajussi. To indicate it's a cis woman's pussy. Oh no,
Why do
or
we have to
even
make-
better, thusy. For an NB person with a vagina.
Did you guys hear
Then
about Bill?
pussy, thusy.
Did you guys hear about Bill Maher sucking off Elon Musk the other day?
It wouldn't be surprising, but just, the homophobic kind of way you put it, not awesome.
I don't care. I stopped following like a Bill Maher.
Yeah.
Like some people
He is
still like
just
Bill Maher.
he's a conservative douchebag.
Yeah, he's
he's-
always been.
Vaguely to the right of the Democratic Party.
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny enough, he likes to talk about how much he hates children, but he acts like a big ass kid by just complaining about every damn thing. So it's like he's actually more like a child than he thinks he is.
Yeah.
know,
Well, he likes to date children.
Yeah, that's
He's
true.
like Leonardo DiCaprio in that. 20 years ago, he was dating Cara Santa Maria. I know this because I'm a fan of Cara Santa Maria.
Yeah, I am.
And he was in his late 40s. She was in her early 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
How's she doing, by the way? I haven't heard much from.
She is working on her PhD in clinical psychology. She's currently
cool.
living down in Florida, near you, actually.
Yeah.
She's
You
doing
mean-
a sort of internship thing, I think. She is still doing her podcast, Talk Nerdy to Me, and also, Talk Nerdy. One of those is copyrighted by HuffPo. The other one is her
Oh,
podcast.
yeah.
She
Okay.
also participates still in The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe on a weekly basis. So
Oh, cool.
she's still doing her thing, normal, happy, healthy, and she'll be graduating. She'll be getting her doctorate fairly soon, and almost certainly moving back to California.
I wonder if she felt bad for dating Bill Maher.
We all have exes we regret.
Yep.
Yeah.
And also,
so-
she is an advocate of open relationships. She is in one right now.
Nice.
And she recently had a cancer scare and got a hysterectomy as a result.
Mhm.
These are things she's all been
yes.
open about. I'm not telling tales out of school. She's talking
I
about
see.
the podcast. I mean, I'm not stalking her.
Yeah.
That's why I know about them is she shared them.
Hey, if she's putting out that content and you're originally listening to that content as worth, then that's fine. Just because,
Jesus,
like,
Jordan. Sorry,
yeah,
that's
pussy
trans.
sounds more like a foot fetish as word. I agree, like George R.P. Yeah, pussy sounds like a foot fetish.
Like in 40-Year-Old Virgin. I lubed up her feet. You know how a boob feels like a bag of sand?
Hey, you're putting a pussy on the pedestal.
Bag
That's
of
the second
sussy.
time I heard it. That's the second time I heard it. What's people's obsession with putting pussies on pedestals as a word? I did actually like.
I mean, that
40-year-old
movie has
version.
some problems, but
It does.
it does have some lines.
That movie worked, and how like actually the critics also like, no, this is actually a good movie because like even though the titular character of Sequel of the 40-year-old version, I'm 38, I'm 2 years away from that character.
Virgin shaming is not a good thing.
I'm only 30, but I'm still waiting for it's my
My
virginity.
virginity has grown back. I'm going to be honest.
My virginity is humanity's last best kept secret.
Too late, you already shared it with the internet. but like in the 40-year-old version, yeah, there's the Virgin
So
Cinema.
did y'all. So did the other two. So
True.
Actually,
Yes.
I kind of think of 40-Year-Old Virgin as the best of Seth Rogen's frat boy comedies.
I
yeah.
agree. Yeah, exactly. Because it's also the character himself or his virginity. That's not the butt of all the jokes. The jokes come from like the friends.
Everyone else around him obsessing about it.
True, and also trying to like fix that problem as it were, like giving terrible advice or
And
like
ultimately, what it comes down to is that it's not a screwball sex comedy so much as a romantic comedy where he actually does
exactly,
form that meaningful relationship.
exactly.
Well,
And as is perfectly natural, he's not good at it his first time.
Oh yeah.
well, I always thought because some of the things I'm into, I don't know. But we've had this
Okay,
conversation.
being into blonde women, that's not really a kinky fetish thing. I hate to break it to you.
No, I mean like Star Trek. I don't.
No,
I like
Okay,
my
yeah, being into spaceships is kind of a kinky fetish.
not in a sexual way. He just
Spussy.
really it's a
Space pussy.
special interest.
music that I like. It's music most people don't like. I
Nah,
mean,
your
Having
hipster
your
thing.
own niche interests is one, not bad, two, awesomely autistic.
I'm
Yes,
finna I'm finna like post and like I think maybe I could post in the chat. I'm finna like show you the music I'm into.
you can also post it in live chat too.
Mhm.
Yes, I'm fixing to.
Okay.
Mhm.
I
like
haven't
the
seen Zack and Mary.
Oh, wait a minute.
That
Have
was
I
when I
seen
was in
that?
grad school, I think. I spent most of my time drinking.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Although I did manage to get out and see, not Watchmen, V for Vendetta, and the first Iron Man.
Oh, yeah, the Zack and Miri Mega Porno. This was like this yeah, Kevin Smith movie. Oh, yeah. So I've fallen off of like Kevin Smith's stuff as it were, or not because like I have problems with Kevin Smith.
Wow,
Actually,
that is so 90s.
yes, it made in 2008.
Oh my god, I can feel my blue jeans expanding and I'm wearing gym shorts. Oh, my clothes
Yes.
are getting so baggy. Oh, I'm disaffected. I want to listen to Linkin Park.
No, it's edgy. I'm gonna just sit and smoke pot and watch MTV all day.
Oh
Watch
my god, I
Kennedy.
can hear four non-blondes. 25 years. Life is still.
Hey, friend. Yes, I got that good point. Yeah, like a Jordan Trumpy. Yeah, exactly. And need to get out to like GOT 3. Yeah, I don't know what you're referencing there, Joe McClory. That the like reference went over my head.
Guardians of the Galaxy, the newest on
Oh,
Disney.
okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I want to go. I also kind of want to get out there and go see the new D&D movie. I
Hmm.
know it's gonna suck,
I
but
heard good things
Hope
about it.
Springs Eternal, and it's trying so hard to be a Marvel movie. You can just see by the
It, but
poster.
actually, here's the thing: you gotta even though like the poster and like the trailer part of this, it's actually just like it just you gotta like go into it, like it's not telling a story. These are just like players playing out the campaign as it were. And so like, but the people who my friends who do play D&D enjoy playing D&D and went to see the movie, they had a good time with it.
I mean, the problem
So they
is that D&D is it's not a setting, it's not even a premise, it's a system.
yes,
You need something like the cartoon. You need something big to set it up. It's not something you can do in a movie. It's not even something
there's
like
that.
Marvel you can set up in a series of movies. And it's not something
Uh,
like the DC Extended Universe that you can fail to set up in a series of movies and have a bunch of really expensive bad movies directed by a Nazi. You need a TV show. Because you can set up a lot of really interesting premises, but you need to set up the premise.
is and like actually there was a reference to like the D&D like cartoon in the movie.
Wouldn't
Yeah,
be
so
surprised.
yeah. Yes,
Wouldn't
but
surprise me to
just
learn that Chris Pine. I kind of want to see it just for Chris Pine. Chris Pine.
mhm,
He seems pretty
mhm.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite
Yes.
having
And I
worked
think
with the guy from Lost in the movies, the Star Trek movies.
oh J.J. Abrams.
Yes. J.J. Abrams is. I was
He's a
not a
good
big fan of
businessman.
what he did with 7 and 9.
Oh yeah.
Ryan Johnson with episode 8. I loved it. That was a communist movie.
7 and 9. You mean Force Awakens?
Yeah, Force Awakens, episode 7 and episode 9.
Episode 7 and episode 9. I thought you were talking about 7 9, the Trek character.
Yeah. I mean, I realized it as I said it.
That's Rick Berman. That's Rick Berman.
Yeah, Rick Berman was a terrible person, and what he did was like 7 and 9. 7 9 itself, I think, is a good character, but like Rick Berman just like they had 7 9 there just there for sex appeal too, purposely. He was on set and like it was and dictated like how like 7 9's like bodysuit was perfectly conformed to like Jennifer Ryan's like body as were and accentuate the assets as were.
Ozma, you're right. They're friends who raise a kid or are not in a relationship. I mean, used to be kids were. I don't want to say community property, but I mean, and the sort of the primitive you can't see me doing the air quotes. The primitive communism of pre-capitalist landscape. Kids ran around and everybody participated in just teaching kids stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 7 was okay. I think it did a good job of introducing the trilogy. I think Abrams and his mystery box concept is what really went off the rails there.
Oh, yeah, I have so many. That's the thing. J.J. Abrams is a really good businessman that like can competently, in some regards, do some art as well. And I think he was also the producer of Alias too. So he worked a long time in Hollywood and actually did like a lot of things. But like the mystery box sort of thing, it's just like
I think he fell victim to the Chris Carter effect. The problem with the X-Files. Chris Carter didn't know, he didn't have an end game. He was just writing more mystery on more mystery on more mystery. And I think that J.J. Abrams got he did the same thing, I think, with Lost. And he got that reputation, and I think it fell apart in the same way for him as it did for Chris Carter.
Yeah. So yeah, we mentioned like rambling on enough that we're at the 90-minute mark. So like,
I just want to say one last thing about episode 9. Episode 9 would have been a decent end if they had set that up from the beginning.
I agree,
and had like a consistent throughput for the whole trilogy. But as it was, Abrams did one thing, Johnson did something totally different, and then Abrams just ignored that.
Yeah,
they should have had a single vision for the whole thing, like they've done with Marvel.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, speaking of like niches, I was one time told that because the way I talk, I've been told by a white person who grew up around like ghetto black people that I sound gay.
That took a turn I wasn't expecting. I thought he was going to say I'm more black than you. It would actually no. You know what? What I would do is I would be willing to do a road trip. I could pay my way down by just taking Uber deliveries all the way down to Florida and all the way back, and I could beat the crap out of that person.
Well, it was a woman.
No, I'm not going to use Uber to pay my way for independently contracted hits.
That is a story right there.
Oh my God, that would be a wild ass movie. Isaiah, you have to write that movie. An independent contractor. he does freelance hits that he pays for by Ubering his way across the country to the hit.
I think somebody made a movie about that. It has Mira Sorvino in it. There's a movie about that.
Shit. So, of course, The Simpsons already did it.
Damn it. Okay. Simpsons did it. But anyway, so yeah, I posted like some of the like links to the comments and our the more specific ones like Phoenix, like Joanna, and Natsuneko and Linequin. Linequin is actually streaming right now, as it were. But like here's also the links to
Gun will Uber. Yes.
There you go. That's
Gun will Uber with the app of a man.
I mean, even though it was now just because like a story thought odd idea has already been done before, it doesn't stop people from like recreating.
There's only 7
things,
story types anyway, and of course, there's only the one hero's journey according to the Nazi.
It's Joseph Campbell, a Nazi? Not surprising.
Nazi sympathizer. He was not a great guy. Maggie Mae Fish did, I think, a pair of videos on him.
Well, again, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, but like because the Nazis love to kind of like one man, a strong man, that sort of thing too. And
And
unfortunately,
so yeah, the great men thing. Yeah. Let's see. Joseph Campbell and the Nazis. Yes, 2 videos. Joseph
okay,
Campbell and the myth of the monomyth. Joseph Campbell and the Nazis. Yes, she did 2 videos. Maggie Mayfish,
yes.
if you haven't heard of her, is amazing. I'm going to go ahead and share links to both of those in the live chat right now. Because I watched them both recently, and that's why I remembered them.
Yeah, so yeah. So Zay Taylor has his own 2 of his own YouTube channels, the Artistic Modern Society and Sinister Intelligence. Check them out. And like you have a new Instagram. I forgot what it is.
I think Isaiah Taylor is 60.
It's Zay Taylor 60 Instagram. So check those things out.
For a
Terry
second there, I thought you
page.
said Isaiah Taylor is sexy, and you know what? I would have been okay with that.
Well, yeah, I am. I'm 30. Look how nice I look.
Black don't crack, baby.
I'm sorry.
That's your Little Wayne.
Mhm.
Oh,
Yeah. So I am Summer Geek on YouTube. I haven't posted a YouTube video in like forever. Summer Geek
But
on
you do
co-host
Twitch.
so I'm also Summer Geek on co-host Tumblr and like Twitter. Yes, I'm still on Twitter. And I am on Twitch. I'm going to be streaming later today. I'm not sure when I'm going to be streaming. I think I will read the Anarchist program by Erico Malatesta because like someone asked me privately which I could have brought up, but it was
I
started
love
a
that
whole
his name
discussion
means
this one.
badhead.
Yeah, someone asked me, it's like, how I want to know, how do you believe the system should work, or like my ideal society as it were. I will give like one of the best answers I can in the essay by Enrico Malatesta of like in the Anarchist program. And so I'm not sure if I'm going to read all of it, but I'll try to read all of it, or at least read a lot of it, then I'll game afterwards. So yeah, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch after we get off here and I eat. And John Brockman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Indeed, I am. Dungeons and Debacles. We're cops, but we've stopped killing civilians because I complained. It's fun. It's very different, and Kevin may or may not still be updating it. I don't know.
Mm.
I mean, he's busy, and I think
Yep.
he has like a 2-year backlog at this point. But
Yep.
and I will leave you with a quote that I think tells you why we should not, absolutely not, kill landlords. It's an ancient Chinese proverb. Well, I don't know how ancient it is, but it is a Chinese saying. Every peasant hangs himself in his landlord's doorway. Because he doesn't own the doorway. He hangs himself in someone else's doorway. And it refers to peasants protesting harsh treatment by landlords.
Mm-hmm.
So capitalism was bad even in China. Ancient China, Eastern religions also bad. Don't glorify.
I call ancient China Cathay because I think that's what it was. That's what it was. Right? There's a book where it was called Cathay, ancient China.
No, they've always
don't
called
remember.
themselves Chenghua, which is basically Chinese for Mediterranean. Just means the center of the earth. Hence why it's
Yeah,
sometimes
that makes
called
sense.
the Middle Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
And my pronunciation is probably terrible. It's just my memory of a friend of mine from China back in the day.
Yeah.
All right. And with that, I will go ahead and stop at the stream.
Yep.
And my avatar can't wave, but I'm waving.
Goodbye, everyone.
See, okay,
Take
and
care
then
of
you go
yourself.
ahead and yawn. That's why I had the avatar, because I got like 3 hours of sleep last night, and I didn't want to yawn all over the place. I'm such a jerk geek. Bye-bye, everybody.
I'm sorry. Bye bye, everyone.